Hey there, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitars Ready Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Someday by Nickelback on the acoustic guitar. For this lesson, I'll teach you two different ways of playing the song. The first method will be in standard tuning, and the second method will be in drop C tuning, but this is how Chad Kroeger and the band actually play it live when they perform it acoustically, but also in the studio recording. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarsreadyhero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you're fairly new to guitar and you're looking to build a strong and solid foundation, but you don't know where to start, then check out the Guitars Ready Hero Premium course and membership, which gives you all the guidance to play with confidence. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Let's jump into the lesson. Okay, so I'll start off by showing you how you can play this in standard tuning, because let's be honest, getting into drop C tuning is a bit of a pain. So let's start with the verse chord progression. There's 4 chords here. So we're going to start with a B minor chord. Now all you need to do is put your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, ring and pinkies on the 4th frets of the 4th and 3rd string, and middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. We're just going to focus on those middle 4 strings. We don't want the 6th string ringing out, so you can lightly mute that. So you can mute that by lightly touching it with your index finger as you're fretting down the 5th string. And the 1st string can be muted too, or you can bar that down with your index finger. It's completely up to you. So that's our B minor. Then we go to a G major chord. So I'm using the 4-finger G here. Then an A sus2. So just index and middle finger on the 2nd frets of the 4th and 3rd strings. I'm strumming from the 5th string onwards. And again, you don't want the 6th string ringing out. So I mute that by lightly using my thumb to reach over the top and lightly touch that 6th string. And then finally we have a D major chord. Those are our 4 chords. For the B minor to the G, that's contained within 1 bar, and the strumming pattern for each of those chords is a simple down, 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 up. So the first bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when we get to the A sus2 to the D, our strumming pattern changes a tiny bit. So for the A sus2, it's down, 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 up, down. And then on the up strum after the 3 beat, we quickly change the D with a up, down, 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 up. So putting that together, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. And remember, we're changing on that up strum. So the A sus2 to the D. Now that down strum on the 3 beat for the A sus2 can also be a muted strum as well. Now to get that muted strum, you're basically doing a down strum, but you put the side of your palm onto the strings at the same time as you're rotating your wrist for a downwards strum. This makes it a little bit more percussive and sounds a little better than just strumming it regularly. And then it will sound like this. That is optional though, you don't need to mute on that 3 beat, it's completely up to you. So altogether, the verse chord progression. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, we move on to the pre-chorus, which is fairly simple. So we're going to play an E5 chord. So for the E5, you can simply just put your index finger and bar it across the 2nd frets of the 5th and 4th string and focus on these heavier 3 strings. But what I'm going to do is also include my pinky finger here on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. With this E5 chord, we're going to strum it at 8th notes with all down strums. And we're going to add some palm muting as well to build this up. So with palm muting, you take the fleshy bit of your palm, rest it lightly on the edge of the bridge as you hit the strings, as you do the downstroke, and you'll get that slightly muffled, muted sound. And as you build this up, you can slowly lift your palm. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then we go to an A5 chord. So I'm going to play this A5 with my index and middle finger, so similar to the A sus2, but I'm going to just ensure that the 1st and 2nd strings are muted by lightly touching it with my index finger as I'm fretting those notes. And with the A5, we're just doing 5 strums here, and we're ending on the 3 beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the pre-chorus, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Next, we get to the chorus chord progression. There's 4 lines of chords here. So we're going to start with a G, and then D, and then to our A5, and then to our E5. Now the strumming pattern is identical to what we had in the verse. So for the first bar, it's a simple down, 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 up for each chord. And for the A5 to the E5, we have that change on the upbeat. So that will sound like this. And the first line of chords. For the second line of chords, we have G, A5, and then B minor, and back to A5. Now for the B minor to the A5, it is just the down, 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 up strumming pattern for each of the chords. So the second line of chords. The third line of chords is the same as the first line of chords, and the fourth line of chords is almost the same as the second line of chords, except when we get to the B minor, we're just going to strum that and let it ring out. The chorus in total, 1, 2, 3, 4. After the first chorus, there's another verse, another pre-chorus, and a second chorus. Now in the second chorus at the very end for that B minor, we are playing it for a full bar, and we're just going to build it up with all downstrokes followed by a quick upstroke. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and like that. Then there's the solo section. Now rhythmically, it's exactly the same as the chorus. And then there's one more verse, another pre-chorus, and then chorus number 3, which is similar to the other choruses, except it's just the first 2 lines of chords repeated through twice. And then there's the outro. So for the outro, the first line of chords is the same as the second line of chords in the chorus. And then to end this song, we have the G to A5, and then we end the song with an E5. So the final line of chords. If you want to see this all in context, go to the playthrough at the end of the lesson. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you how to play the solo in standard tuning. We're going to start with the 7th fret of the 5th string, and we'll hit that and slide into it. So pluck anywhere on the 5th string and slide into the 7th. That's not entirely necessary, but stylistically it sounds better. And then we go 9th fret of the 4th string, and then with the index go up to the 6th fret of the 3rd string. So the first 3 notes. Then we're going to hit this 6th fret note one more time, but bend it a half step and release it. And then 7th fret of the 4th string and 9th fret. So this little section and the bar in total. The second bar is almost the same, except for the second note, instead of the 9th fret of the 4th string, we're playing the 9th fret of the 5th string. So the second bar. For the second line of tab, we go down to the 5th fret of the 5th string, and then 7th fret of the 4th, and then up to 9th. So 3 notes. Then 7th fret of the 5th string. Then we're going to hit the 9th fret of the 4th and slide up to 11th. After that slide, we then go back down to the 9th fret of the 4th string. So the second half and the bar in total. Then we move on to the next bar where we stay on this note and we're going to pluck it 3 times with that down, up, down. And then we'll go up to the 6th fret of the 3rd string, pluck that 3 times. And then go up to the 7th fret of the 3rd string and pluck that twice. So the first half. Now in terms of picking direction there, I'm continuously doing a down, up picking motion. Then for the second half, with your middle finger, 7th fret of the 4th string, pluck this 3 times. Then then 6th fret of the 3rd string 3 times, and then 7th fret twice. So the second half, and this bar in total. And the second line of tab in total. For the 3rd line of tab, we'll go back to the 9th fret of the 4th string, but with our pinky finger. We're going to continue on with the same rhythmic pattern in terms of picking. So 3 plucks here, then 6th fret of the 3rd string, and then 7th fret twice. So now for the second half of this bar, the timing is going to change a little bit. We'll go to the 7th fret of the 4th string, pluck this twice, then 9th fret of the 3rd string twice, down to 6th fret, and back up to the 7th. So the second half, and the bar in total. For the next bar, the first half is the same, but then we're going to go to 7th fret twice of the 4th string, and then reach up to the 11th fret of the 3rd string, pluck that twice, down to 7th twice, and then 9th fret, and back to 7th. So the second half. So the bar in total. Then for the 4th line of tab, we go back to the 9th fret of the 4th string, pluck that, then 6th fret of the 3rd and 7th, so 3 notes there. And then 7th fret of the 4th string, 9th fret of the 3rd, pluck that and slide up to the 11th, and then end on 9th fret of the 4th string. So this 4th line of tab. And in total for the solo. And those are all the parts that you need to learn for the standard tuning version. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you how Chad Kroeger actually plays this and how it's played in the studio recording. We'll need to get into drop C tuning, which is quite low. So our lowest E string will go down 4 semitones to a C note, which sounds like that. Our A string will go down 2 semitones to a G, which sounds like that. D will go down to a C. G will go down to an F. B will go down to an A, and E will go down to a D. So that's drop C tuning there. Let's start with the verse progression. There's 4 chords. We're going to start with a C sharp minor chord like this. Now with this chord, it's really important to ensure that your 6th string is muted, and I lightly touch the 6th string with my index finger as I'm fretting down on the 4th fret of the 5th string. So C sharp minor, then we go down to A sus2. I play that with my index and middle finger on the 2nd frets of the 4th and 3rd strings, strumming from the 5th string onwards. Then we have B sus2 chord shape. So index finger bars across the 2nd fret from the 5th string onwards, and index and ring and pinky finger on the 4th frets of the 4th and 3rd string. Now if you can't get that B sus2, you can just focus on the power chord and leave the 1st and 2nd strings muted. It's completely up to you. But we have B sus2, and then finally an E5 power chord. For this E5 power chord, we're going to shift our index finger up 1 string, and this is going to bar the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. Ring finger goes onto the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and pinky onto the 5th fret of the 2nd string. It's our E5 chord. You could just focus on the top 3 strings if you wanted to, but Chad Kroeger uses these additional fingers to really fill out that chord. So those are our 4 chords. The strumming pattern is going to be the same as the easy version I taught you. So down, 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 up for the first 2 chords. And for the B sus2 to the E5, we have that change on the upstroke after the 3 beat. So the verse. Next is the pre-chorus. We're going to play an F sharp 5 power chord. It's same as our E5, just shifted up 2 frets. We're going to slowly build this up with all down strums, and I'm going to start by palm muting it. So resting the palm lightly on the edge of the bridge. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then we go to our B5. So it's the same as our B sus2, except we are only really focusing on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings. 1st and 2nd and 6th string are muted. This is going to be strummed 5 times, and we end on the 3 beat. 1 and 2 and 3. So the pre-chorus. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Next we get to the chorus chord progression. There's 4 lines of chords here. So for the first line of chords, it's our A sus2, then our E5, a B5, and then our F sharp 5. Now the strumming pattern is identical to what we have in the verse. So for the second bar, it's where we change on the up strum. So the first line of chords. For the second line of chords, it's A sus2, B5, C sharp minor, and back to our B5. And for the second bar, we are just playing down, 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 up for each chord. So the second line. Third line of chords is the same as the first line of chords, and for the fourth line of chords, it's almost the same as the second line of chords, except we end on the C sharp minor and let it ring out. If you want to see the chorus in context, go to the playthrough at the end of this lesson. After the first chorus, there's another verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. And then we get into the solo section. Now rhythmically, it's the same chord progression as the chorus, so nothing new to learn there. Then there's another verse, and then chorus number 3, which is the same as the first 2 lines of chords of the other choruses, just repeated through twice. Then the outro, which is just A sus2, B5, C sharp minor, back to B5, and the second line of chords is A sus2, B5, and then we end with the F sharp 5. Again, if you want to see all that in context, go to the playthrough at the end of this lesson, but I've already kind of explained most of it. As far as the guitar solo goes, you can play everything I taught you in the standard tuning version, but it needs to go up 2 frets. So if you're playing this detuned in drop C tuning, it would sound like this. That's everything for how Chad Kroeger plays this acoustically live and how it's also tuned in the original studio recording. So now I'll be doing 2 playthroughs of the song. The first playthrough will be the standard tuning version, and the second playthrough will be the detuned version, or how Chad Kroeger actually plays it. Feel free to play these back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Just as long as turn the table, now the story's played out like this. Just like a paperback novelist, we write an ending that fits. Instead of a Hollywood horror, nothing's wrong, just as long as you know that someday I will. Someday, somehow, gonna make it alright, but not right now. I know you're wondering where, the only one who knows that. Someday, somehow, gonna make it alright, but not right now. I know you're wondering where, the only one who knows that. I know you're wondering where, the only one who knows that. I know you're wondering where.
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here, or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.